your side, and obviously you got people in power that are not exactly on your side. But I'm curious for you.
To interrupt you, sorry.
Go ahead.
Are the people in power on anyone's side? Does anybody in any country in the West now agree with anything their politicians do? I'm actually asking this question. Every time I see a politician talk, I think you will not find a single person on the street who agrees with that crap. We don't want to bomb these countries. We don't want to give money to these places. None of these things they're doing, anybody wants us to do. Democracy in action, huh? If they're not on my side, they're not on anybody's side. It doesn't matter if you're in France, Germany, England, or America. I can't find a single democratic nation where any of the decisions they make benefit their own people ever, and anybody agrees with it at all. It's a miracle it still operates. It's a miracle somehow they're still pulling it off, where they stand in front of us and go, you're all gonna pay loads of taxes, we're not gonna fix your roads, you can't afford to eat groceries, we're giving $100 billion to someone else, thanks. Bye, going home now for the day. Oh, and my wages have been put up. This clown world. Of course they're against me, they're against everybody. And what do? I tell people to think and be brave. I say, get some balls and think for yourself and say what you think. So that can't be allowed to happen because they don't want to fix the sickness of society because society is sick. Instead, what they want to do is get rid of the person who points it out. And we have all these problems and everyone's pretty much accepting it. But when this guy reminds them, it causes an issue. We're not going to fix the problems. Get rid of him. That's why I have to go. So sorry to interrupt you, but the people in charge don't agree with anything I say. The people in power, you're right, but they don't agree with any normal person's point of view. They don't give a shit about any of us. When's the last time you've seen any of the people in power talk about inflation, talk about the fact that the border's not closed, talk about rampant crime, talk about the educational system being under attack? No. What do they talk about instead? LGBT, the climate, crap no one cares about. No one cares about this crap. All they talk about is the crap no one cares about because that's the people who put them in power, those with the money who are trying to purport these garbage agendas. And all the things you do care about, you're not allowed to mention. If you mention them on a podcast like this, you're going to end up in a jail cell. Take me to fucking jail then.
Top G.
Take me to jail. I don't know what the delay is. Let's go. Let's just do it.
Yeah. So, but again, I keep kind of harping on that, but it's like I'm so curious how, or maybe you don't even think of it that way in terms of how you see you coming out the other side with the heat waned off, or do you think that's a possibility, or do you think it's going to be like a fight till the death?
I think as this war ends, another one will begin. I think that life just morphs from one war to the next. Even if you think about the average person's life, they think, I'll be happy once I just get over this one thing, or I'll be happy once this is done, or I'll be happy once I bought this, and it never works out like that. As this war ends, another war will begin. Life is constant and never-ending war. You can either try your very best to have an easy life and be an unimportant nobody, or you can get very good at having a hard life and at least matter as you suffer through the human experience. And I don't see an ending because I don't think war is ever going to end. The war will change, perhaps. Perhaps it's not a Romanian court. Perhaps it's something else. But the war is going to go on forever. And every single day I'm going to get up and do my best while I'm breathing. And that's the reality I'm going to live for as long as they let me live until they decide that they don't want me around anymore. And I would never kill myself. And that's the bottom line.
And I love that you say that too. You always say, I would never kill myself.
I wouldn't. When I was in jail, the first month I was in jail, I think there was 4 suicides, and I got really nervous that they were trying to set up a pattern. And I kept tweeting, I would never kill myself, never kill myself, never kill. I tweeted it nearly every other day. So that's the one psyop I don't want anyone to believe. There's no circumstance on earth in which I would kill myself, ever. You're gonna have to kill me. You're gonna have to do it. I'm not gonna make it easy for them. I'm not gonna allow them to upset me. Take my ice cream away like a little girl, boo-hoo, and me do it for them. No, do your own dirty work.
Unless, well, you were born in Washington, D.C., right?
Correct.
Unless you run for president of the United States.
Bro. How many cases has he got against him? 100? I'm only dealing with like 3. I don't know, bro, it's 97 more.
Well, Trump's catching up.
I am praying for the West because if he doesn't win, I think it's the end of America as we know it.
In a hypothetical universe, obviously it's totally hypothetical, but if you ran for president, what was the first things, if President Tate was in office? It's crazy that sounds. What would you do? Well, it would be
20 years from now, and I think the world will be a dramatically different place in 20 years. But I do believe that the core tenets that Western leaders are lacking are a degree of nationalism, a degree of care for their own people. I think that would be refreshing to see. Wouldn't it be nice to see a president who cares about Americans over everyone else, which is what Trump was. I think nationalism and competence are probably the two things that you expect in a leader of a global power like America. It's a shame that none of the current leaders have those two tenets. But I think that a prioritization of your own people should be your primary objective in all things. And regardless of how different the world is in 20 years from now or the geopolitical landscape, my intention would be to serve the people who put me in power. Radical idea, I know, crazy. But perhaps the people who vote for me and pay for the government that I'm in charge of should be the ones I'd be concerned about, as opposed to everything and everyone else.
Yeah.
I know, crazy, I know, but
Yeah.
it seems the people who are in charge are more interested in global money and the global finance, which the people who put them there in the first place. And obviously, if you're global finance, you have no particular concern for one geographical area or nation. In fact, if you're global finance, you can benefit off the burning of a nation, off the destruction of a nation. There's no light without dark. Global finance has benefited off the exploitation of the second and third world for a very long time to enrich the first world. And it can also benefit just as well off the destruction of the first world to enrich other parts of the planet. Most people don't understand that. People think they need to keep America alive because of the dollar and because it's America. No, they can live in Saudi or Tanzania. They can live in a mansion anywhere, and they have a globe master, so they can fly anywhere they want. And if America being decimated or destroyed will benefit them and make them forever profit, they have no problem with that because they are globalist. It's a different attitude. I know what I'm talking about because I'm as rich as these fuckers, and I'm telling you, you get to a certain point where you can be anywhere, and if your allegiance isn't to a particular land. Let me put it this way. There are very powerful people in the world today who you could say, and they could be American, born American, and you could say to them, you will make forever profit, but America will degrade at a rate of 0.2% every single year for the rest of your human life, but you will make forever profit with your company. And they will say yes. And they'll think, it'll be okay, because all of the crime and all the degradation will hit areas they don't live in cities they don't live in neighborhoods they don't live in, while they're in America, if they're in America at all. And if you compound that across a bunch of people with power, 0.2%, 0.1%, 0.3%, 0.4%, all adds up, and you start to realize why society is being destroyed and why these people don't care, because they don't experience it. The average person experiences it, and the average person is stuck with it because they can't move. They don't have a private jet, and they can't leave, and they don't have global money. They have one job in one place, and they are stuck there. And those are the people who suffer. And that's the reality. And then these people get the people who are in charge into power to represent the people, but they don't represent the people, they represent the global money. And that's why they make the decisions they make and talk about the things they talk about, and they don't talk about anything important. Try and distract you, keep you confused. Inflate the currency to zero, but keep us arguing about whether men can get pregnant or not. It's all a clown show, it's all garbage. Andrew points out the truth, destroy him with the legal system. Now we're in a current predicament, our current quagmire. If Andrew walks, he becomes more powerful than ever before. Romania is embarrassed, DCOT is embarrassed, FBI is embarrassed. MSM is embarrassed. BBC said he's a human trafficker. Can't just lose the credibility of the BBC. We need them to lie to people. Oh, but he's innocent. Yeah, but no, he may be innocent, but look at all this mess it causes.
Yeah.
Isn't it easier just to put him in jail?
If it bleeds, it leads, yeah.